Hello, hello, everybody. Greetings. Hello. Happy Monday. Let me just say hello. Let me know that you can see and hear me okay. I got a new microphone. Want to make sure that it works. So if somebody just give me a thumbs up or say, yes, we can hear you just fine, or no, your lips are moving and we can't hear a word you're saying. Okay, so let's say hello. I'm going to assume that you can hear me. I'm guessing yes, no, I'm not seeing comments are not coming up. All right, well, we're going to proceed and we'll keep fingers crossed that everything is honky-dory. I had to, for those of you who are channel members, I did a little video for you guys earlier today from the farm. I had to zip home because the internet there is just for shizzle. There's no, I tried to go live and it would just completely break up. So I was afraid to do the live stream from there. So I zipped home. Me and Gypsy are here right now. And hi all watching on TV. Oh, cool. Wow. I have no idea what I look like on the big screen. It was a great video. Okay, good. So then I'm assuming everybody could hear me. All right. Because that is part of what we're going to talk about tonight is how that we can just be ourselves, that this mask that we all wear, and we all do it, myself included, this thing that we all do. Part of the video that I shared with the members earlier today was like makeup free. It was just natural because why, but we'll talk about that. I'm jumping ahead. Okay. Let me say hello. Let me say hello to Sherry. Good to see you. And I'm looking at my cheat sheet. Oh, Kali, you wrote about that heart murmur. Let me tell you something. This is just my personal thoughts, not to let a veterinary diagnosis distract you from the love that you can offer your beautiful animal companion and the life that they can still have in front of them. Winston was diagnosed with a grade 6 heart murmur. You could literally feel his heart beating out of rhythm through his chest. When you held him, it was uncomfortable. I didn't often hold him that way just because it's also uncomfortable for him, but you could feel the way his heart was beating. And when I took him to the veterinarian, he was the one that angels dropped in front of my doorstep. When I took him to the veterinarian, the vet gave him 2 weeks and he lived for 2.5 years. So with good, solid medical care, I call it holistic care, do everything. If you'd like to be connected with an animal Reiki practitioner or you wanted to reach out to me, I recommend a complete holistic thing where if you wanted to do medical care with the veterinarian, acupressure, acupuncture, massage, Reiki, all of those things. There's no question. And there's just no, animals are capable of so much more, even when they're diagnosed with an illness. Sometimes it's the diagnosis that sends us down the spiral hole. But anyway, let me continue to say hello to everybody. AM, share your name, honey, or I shouldn't say honey. Gosh, that's so wrong. Please share your name, regardless of your gender. I'd love to know who you are. Marianne, good to see you. Sharon, who else have I got? Cheryl, Kim. Where else am I going? Kathy, great to see you. Donna, hello, hello. Then who are some new folks? I recognize some new names here. Mimi. Oh, no, Mimi, I do know you. Mimi and Irish Beater 1. Oh, hello. If you feel comfortable sharing your name, we are really a close-knit, I would call us a close-knit community. We support each other. We are judgment-free. We are a safe place to come and just hang out on a Monday night and honor our beautiful animal companions on the other side of life. And for those of you who may be watching the very first time, name is Elaine. The rest of you guys know this. I've got it memorized. You must too. My name is Elaine. I'm the animal Reiki lady, and I am an animal chaplain, animal Reiki master, animal medium. All of my practices revolve around animals. And this channel, the animals who have crossed to the other side, are the ones who inspired me to create this channel as a place of sharing messages of hope and healing and a safe place for all of us to come and just connect and know that we have all been through a similar experience, no matter our background, no matter where we're from. We have people from all over, people from Turkey, people from Hungary, people from England, Canada, the US, some of the other countries that have popped up here, I'm trying to remember, Colombia, Mexico, all over the place, everywhere. So you are more than welcome to join us. And if you're catching this as a live stream, we are interactive. So if questions come up, I don't always catch them because the comments really scroll by pretty quickly. And I try to stay on topic because we always have a topic each week. But I will always go back and check as much as I can. And feel free to ask questions. Feel free to introduce yourself, and welcome to the community. And if you are one who is not a fan of live streams and you want to zoom past all this, jump to like the 5-minute mark before we begin the topic. Okay, let's see what I've got here over in my comments. Sharon, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I am getting more and more comfortable in my own skin. It's something that we're going to talk about tonight, because we are trained to think of ourselves as not being enough the way that we are. And that's part of what I want to talk about, and part of why it took a little bit of courage today to do a live stream, natural, au naturel, without filters, without anything, so that you could see who I am. Okay, and let's see what else we've got here. Glad you love Mondays. I love them too. I love my Mondays now. It's great to connect with everybody. Jesse, good to see you. Carol. Oh, Carol, hi. Okay, well, I got to write that. I have a little cheat sheet of names and handles. So Irish Beater is Carol. So welcome, Carol. Good to see you here. Keep them comfy. Let them have all the good things. Exactly. I joke. We're jumping back over to we're jumping back over to Kali, and when I took Winston to the vet, and they told me that he had a grade 6 heart murmur. You could literally feel his heart beating out of his chest. He had congestive heart failure. He was completely deaf, 100% deaf. Never fully believed that, because when you dropped a cookie on the floor, the little dude could scurry over faster than anybody else to grab that cookie. Totally deaf. And they told me that if he only had a couple of weeks to live, that I should take him home. And that very night, just give him a cheeseburger. Give him a cheeseburger, love on him, let him know that give him all the things, all the really special things for the very end of his life. Well, I joke with the vet now that it was the cheeseburger that did the trick. All I did was give him the cheeseburger, and he's like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm sticking with the chick who gives me the cheeseburgers. And he lived for 2.5 more years beyond that. So I pray that's a similar situation for you. And if it is not, you give him all the love and all the wonderful things that you possibly can, helping him to be comfortable and loved and happy in his final days. Check out. Oh yeah, I've got Sherry's question right here. Sherry asked a good question. Maybe I will get to that first before we get to the topic that I want to cover tonight, which is about how there's no reason to be perfect, that you can be yourself. And that's one of the things I swear that our animals are really trying to get through to us, is just be yourself. There's not a dog who wakes up in the morning and says, excuse me, I got to brush my fur before we go outside for my walk. It just doesn't happen. And I know that that's one of the messages. Real quick, I'm just going to go through these comments super fast, and then we are going to jump into the topic. You 100% don't need filters or makeup. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that, because it's giving me, and hello, Jody, good to see you. It's giving me the validation, the support that I need to just be me. And maybe by that, I can also share with other people that they can just be them. I say this all the time to my own family. Just you guys are beautiful. Like my younger daughters, who are in their 30s, my daughter and my daughter-in-law are in their 30s, and they're reaching that point in their life where they're starting to see their youth change, and they're evolving into somebody different. And I let them know every single time I see them, they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. And there's no need for anything. And this goes not just for women. This is for men too. There's just no need for us to be anybody than who we really are. But okay, jumping ahead. Hi, Pam. Okay, Pamela, got it. One day at a time. Yep. Yeah. Whenever you guys. And here's the other thing, that this is for everybody. For those of you who are in the community, this channel is designed as a place. The SoulPet channel, I have all different types of videos and different topics, but the sole purpose is to support everybody who comes to watch these videos. Everybody who finds us, even just once, it's meant to help support you through either the impending loss of an animal companion or the loss of an animal companion that has already happened. And for those of you who may still have an animal companion on this side of life, If you go to the channel description, and in the description for most of my videos, including tonight's, there's a link to the 2 free guides, one for anticipatory grief and one to help you be a partner for your animal companion as they prepare for their transition. They're free. There's nothing you need to do. And it does require that you give me your email address, but I'm not one of those wackos who sends out 10 emails a day saying, come buy my stuff. It's not that at all. I will keep you advised once a week. I send out the newsletter reminding you of this video. I keep you advised if I have any events coming up or any classes, like a bunch of you signed up for the psychic development class, but there's like zero pressure. And I'm not one of these people who sends out the emails, last chance, you're missing it. It's called FOMO, by the way, fear of missing out. That is a marketing term, FOMO. I won't use it. I promise I will not use it. It drives me crazy, all those things. Anywho, you're welcome to those free guides. And if you ever needed more help beyond that, reach out to me myself. And I've got several people who have already trained with me to become support people for animals who are about to transition. So reach out. We are happy to help you. Okay. I have to read this comment from Kim. Oh, it's just at me personally. So I'll read it quietly first. Oh, right. I love that. Okay. So I'm just going to say this because it does sometimes depend on where you are. Kim, who also used to reside in Colorado, where I reside, came to Colorado, and it's very, people here it's almost a competition to see who can be more natural. It's almost a competition here to see who gets the most exercise, who skis the most, who hikes the most, who's hiked the most 14ers, who's seen the most wildlife, who's seen the bear, who's seen the mountain lion, who wears no makeup, who drinks water straight from the stream. Yeah, it's almost a competition here, but it has helped me also release that need for, and having also left my corporate job where I always felt that I had to be like perfect. Okay. So here we go. You've been told that you look like Jodie Foster, military, and have been called sir. That's funny. Yes, I get it. I get that too. I get that. And we're all different, and we all are so freaking amazing, no matter what our style is or what our physique is, what our body and our face and all that is. Okay, we're going to get to that. All right, let's jump in. We're way into this now. We're 12 minutes in for those who don't like to have all this banter back and forth. It has taken us a while. What I want to share with you tonight is about how to be yourself and why our animal companions are showing us how to be ourselves and how to be true to ourselves, and how that is a way to help us heal. Because when we honor them by being more of ourselves, it helps us overcome some of that grief that we're going through. Again, there's no judgment about grief, none whatsoever. I will not even judge about suffering. I will encourage you and try to boost you out of the state of suffering. But there's never any judgment here, and we're all on our own journey. So I see all the comments still coming in strong. Continue to support each other. I've got to, like, for me, stay focused for the moment. And so tonight I want to talk about being yourself and how letting go of perfection, and because there's no such thing as perfect. There's absolutely no such thing as perfect. And no matter what anybody tells you or what anybody's trying to portray to you, every single person feels less than perfect. And everybody always had, there's a song by Billy Joel, right? What's it called? The Stranger? Am I right? If anybody wants to jump in about that, where it talks about, hang on a second. I've clicked a button on my, almost lost the whole live stream. Let's move my little keyboard out of the way. All right, bear with me for a sec. All right. Yeah. New keyboard, new microphone, new little setup here to try to make things little by little. I'm getting there. By the time that we have to go to let go of natural light and go with lighting, I'll have that set up too. I want to talk about a story that happened when I was a small child. And I want to talk about a story that I heard on an audiobook recently. And so it's Billy Joel, who wrote the song The Stranger, and it's about that we all have this mask, right? There's two sides to all of us, and we only ever show the side that we choose to. But we all know that there's a side to us. There's a side to me that can swear like a sailor. There is a side to all of us that is different than the persona that we put out to everybody, to all the people. Why do we do that? Because we feel unworthy. We don't feel good enough in our own skin. And that's why we do it. We think we're going to be judged. We think we're not going to be loved. We think we're not going to be liked. Our animal companions are here to say, time to get off that gravy train. So I want to tell you the story about myself and about this audiobook. And I'll tell you the story about myself as a child first. I actually forgot this story for a while. I like to remember it every once in a while. It's one of those memories, if you have a childhood memory, like it's a really, really feel good memory. And it was when I want to say I was about 10 or 11. I'm the oldest of 4 girls. So I'm the oldest daughter of 4 daughters. And my father and mother took us down to the 4th of July parade. This was in Philadelphia. Took us to the 4th of July parade when I was about 10 or 11. And we were watching the parade. And as the parade is going on, the skies opened up. I mean, opened up. Everyone, we were just drenched. Everybody was soaking there, and it's pouring, pouring, pouring rain. And there's my mother and my father, and they have 4 young girls. And so 10, if 10 is the oldest girl, then all the rest of them younger. And trying to figure out what it is we're supposed to do. And we're in a crowd because it's a parade. We're in a crowd, and everybody is going for the train. So there's a nice commuter train system in Philadelphia. And we are all headed for the train. And there's lines of people, and you're trying to get on. And they waived all the fees, like no one is charging us anything. And we get onto the train, and the train is packed solid with everyone soaked to the bone. There's not a single dry person on the train. We are soaked to the bone, and we're shivering, and everybody's packed in. Some people are standing, some people are sitting. There's got to be, on the one train car that I was in, there had to be, at least from my childhood memory, I don't know, 100 people. How many people does a train car hold with every seat filled and everybody holding on to the little straps? And my mother tried to think of a way because we were shivering and cold, and I don't remember if we were crying or not. My mother's trying to think of a way to get us to take our mind off of it. So she said, "Why don't you girls sing a song?" Now, we were all Girl Scouts, so we didn't care about singing songs. And she said, "Why don't you sing God Bless America?" And so we started singing. Look, it even makes me a little emotional right now. Just thinking about it brought a tear to my eye. We started singing God Bless America. 4 little girls start singing at the top of their lungs, God Bless America. And then the next thing you know, the whole train was singing God Bless America. All 100 people, everybody's singing at the top of their voices, God Bless America, setting aside patriotism and the fact that this video goes out to countries all around the world. You'll know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter where you're from. When you get 100 people together feeling the same emotion and the same energy and it was love and connection and unity. We were so unified, and it was so feel good. It was just a feel good time. And when we got off the train, there were people who were crying. There were people crying. And I remember saying to my dad, I didn't understand like the big deal. And I didn't understand why everybody, why, number one, they all jumped in, and why the feeling, like you could feel it. Where was that feeling coming from? And why were people crying afterwards? And he said, because you reminded people that we are all the same. That song reminded people that we are all the same and we are all together. And we were standing there. There was not a woman whose makeup hadn't run down her face. All of us with our hair drenched. We were all in the same natural condition, singing at the top of our lungs, feeling the connection, looking at each other, and just knowing that everybody on that train was perfect. And that's why I remember that today. I remember that specifically when I was meditating about what we were going to talk about tonight. And the memory came to me that's who we are. At our core, that's who we are. But we put on this mask. We think we're not worthy. We think that that there are people who are prettier than us, that our feet are too big, our eyes are too small, our nose is too long, we have too many wrinkles. We lisped when we were a child. You name it, whatever it is that we judge ourselves for, we think others are judging us also. And I remember when somebody pointed this out to me for the very first time. 2 things. The first thing is, if other people are judging you, what they are judging is a reflection of themselves. And that's for me too. If I find myself judging somebody, I take a step back and say, there's something about this situation that I am judging. It's me. It's this little thing in me that is judging this other person. But the other thing is, people, for the most part, are too wrapped up in themselves, and that's not a judgment either. They're too concerned with themselves and their own worries to worry about what you're doing or not doing. Um, and that has always stuck with me. That we waste more time thinking about what other people are thinking about us when they're not even thinking about us at all. And the other example that I got was, if you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off and you're sitting in your car stewing, like you cussing at them, and that cut me off. Can't believe you just did that. But okay, the other person doesn't care. That they don't care. They don't even know that you're in your car getting yourself all worked up, and then they don't care. They don't not only know, they don't care. So we're going to turn this around. All this is going somewhere. We're going to turn this around when we talk about how our animals connect with us. And then the other story that I had, I'm going to save it for a minute. It is an audiobook I was listening to by Stephen King. Now, Stephen King goes a little dark. If anybody has ever read Stephen King novels, some of them are scary. Some of them are more otherworldly. Some of them are really, really dark. And there's this book of short stories I've been listening to on audiobook, and it's the same thing. Some of the stories are really, really good and intriguing. Others are a little frightening. Others are like, okay, that's way too dark for me. But the one that I heard today was not dark at all. It was beautiful. And it was about a dog who saved a man's life. And I will tell you that story. I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but I'm going to tell you the point of the story in just a minute. Okay, I'm checking my notes, so bear with me for a second. Oh, and then we're going to do the reading for Moose. I forgot to mention that we're going to do a reading for Moose, who because the internet was so wonky today, I didn't get a picture, a photo, or a description of Moose. And I sent an email to Moose's human saying, if you get a second, send me I should see if I can get it now, but I'm afraid to go to my email and lose you guys. So we're going to do this without me having ever seen Moose, and we'll see how much of a connection we can make or not make with Moose. Okay, so my notes. Oh, what about if healing isn't necessarily about overcoming grief? So I kind of said this already. We think that people won't like us or love us unless we act or look in a certain way. All along, our animal companions, when they were here on this side of the veil and on the other side, all along, they've been showing us that we can be ourselves. All right. The cat that lays down, spreads its leg, does the yoga thing, and completely cleans himself. Dogs, every animal, there's no such thing as being self-conscious when you're an animal. And when they cross to the other side and they become part of pure positive love, they become there is no such thing as self-consciousness for an animal. That is something called anthropomorphism, and I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute. Let me check some comments. If you guys are supporting each other, that is great, but I'm just scooching back up. Okay, I think I got all those. Worn your hair back. I know. Well, see, this is like my equivalent of the ball cap here. Of course, I had. Oh yeah, I had the Dorothy Hamill cut too. we're aging ourselves when we talk about that. Yep, we had the Dorothy Hamill cut. And that's the other thing, is that I am going to say this, we have this tendency to, I don't know, celebrity. There's something about celebrity and to follow celebrities. And that if we can make ourselves look like the celebrity, that maybe we'll become more like that celebrity. There's something about, that's a very human thing. Again, no animals will do that. There's not a show pony who looks around and says, ha, 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 look at me. It doesn't work that way at all. We're the ones who create the show ponies. If they had their way, they wouldn't do it at all. Okay. So, all right. So we're still talking. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. And all right. We're going to continue on. We're going to kind of let that go, because not let it go. You guys can talk about as much as you want, but I'm going to continue with our topic. So we think people that won't like us or love us, and we've had that experience when we were little. I was telling a story earlier today that part of that came from the Avon lady, if anybody knows this. When I was a little girl, there was a woman who would come to my mother's house, and she would come into the house and she would sit down and she would open this case and she would bring out all this makeup and she would tell my mother exactly what would make her look prettier, what would make her look younger. Do this with your eyelashes, do this with your lipstick. Don't ever leave the house without putting on your lipstick. Try this shade, try this shade. And you got and then that's how that was like deeply ingrained in me as a young child. So but that by the time I got to junior high school, and even in before that, when some of my friends started wearing makeup, and of course that was the whole thing was that you weren't allowed to, you had to be a certain age before you were allowed to put makeup on. So that became like the teaser. Okay, if I get to this certain age, I get to wear makeup. Oh my gosh, what I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand why we did that and why we thought we weren't good enough. And this goes back eons. Think about the Egyptians and all the kohl around the eyes. And um, I don't know. The need to adorn ourselves is one thing. The need to find our self-esteem in our appearance is another thing. So I wrote, don't like my teeth. Oh yeah, my teeth are crooked. I have too many wrinkles. What if healing is not it is about grief? What if healing is not just about working through the grief and the sadness and the loss of a physical being? What if, and I won't forget Sherry's question, I wrote her name up here. What if it's also about self-esteem and self-confidence? Like Shrek. Does anybody remember the movie Shrek? And at the very end, it's like the flip side of the pancake. Instead of the monster turning in the, like the like the beast turning into the prince, it is the opposite. It's that the beauty all along was in the monster, and that was beautiful. Like to Shrek, that was absolutely beautiful. And what if our animal companions, when they cross to the other side, they are helping us to honor them? Because that's the message that I got today, was that we honor them by being true to ourselves, by being true to ourselves, by being who we are, and trusting ourselves to be who we are, and letting our full beautiful self blossom. And then the people who are meant to love us will love us even more. They'll look at us and say, just like you guys did in the comments, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. Each and every one of you is beautiful just the way you are. I've only ever seen like one or two of you, three, maybe four of you, either in a Zoom or in person. I know from the very bottom of my soul that every single one of you is stunningly beautiful. And when you picked the body that you came here to earth on, yep, down that woo-woo hole, when you picked your body, you picked it up for a reason. And you are absolutely gorgeous. So you're beautiful in every possible way. And we're going to do an exercise in a minute about awareness to help you remember how beautiful you truly are. And it comes from your animal, because this we're going to go to the story, the audiobook. And this will tie into Sherry's question. I'm going to find a way to make this tie into Sherry's question. So don't let me forget that, Sherry. The story on the audiobook was, it was called Lori, and that was the name of the dog, Lori. And it was about a man whose wife had died. And when the wife died, he went into a deep depression. Whether it doesn't matter who your soul companion or soulmate is, whether it's an animal or another person. But this man went into a deep depression after his wife passed away, and his sister bought him a puppy, and he was furious. The whole story is about how he was furious and how eventually he grows to adore and become a partner with his beautiful puppy, Laurie. And he doesn't even know why he names her Laurie. How many of us have done that? Like you don't even know where the name came from, but that's the name. And he and Laurie become best buds. And there is a point in the story, if anybody's going to listen to it, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a little bit of a spoiler. So if you're reading the book, you like it darker, that's Stephen King, then you'll want to plug your ears for this part. At the end of the story is that Laurie saves the old man's life. They find themselves in a dire situation where they're both in peril of losing their lives, and she literally saves him. And it's a frightful experience, and he scoops her up in his arms. They run back home, and they're shaking, and his knees go out from under, his legs go out from under him. And when he picks her up and realizes that she has saved his life, he looks into her eyes, and these are the words that got me. He looks into her eyes and he wonders what she is thinking and what she is seeing, because he also saved her life. It was mutual. The thing that happened resulted in them both saving each other. Neither one of them would have survived without the other. And he looks into her eyes and says, I wonder what you see when you look at me. I wonder what you see. I wonder what you're thinking and feeling. Like I am feeling that you saved my life, and the gratitude and the depth of my love, and how I could never, I think back to when you were a puppy and I thought that I didn't want you, how I could never live that way now. And that's what I'm going to ask you guys to do right now. So of course it's going to be in a place, if you can do this, it's a way that I want to help you see yourself through your animal's eyes. And we're going to do it as a healing exercise. The past 2 weeks, I've shared something with you, a specific technique that you can use to help yourself put the little pieces of your heart back together. If you're feeling, even if you're not feeling the broken pieces at this moment, it comes and goes, right? We know how this is. It comes in waves. And you can put this in your back pocket until the day that you absolutely need it. But to look at yourself through your animal companion's eyes. And why I think that this ties into Sherry's question, if anybody wants to scroll to the very top, she posted a question before the live stream began that was, if our animals are at the Rainbow Bridge or on the other side of life or in heaven, wherever you want to call it, I happen to know, I know this, this energy is everywhere. Heaven is not up there. Heaven is not someplace other than right here. Heaven is surrounding us, and we're just not even aware of it. Heaven is everywhere, but wherever you want to think that they are, Rainbow Bridge, heaven, as a spirit by your side, when we cross over, so when it's time for our time to transition out of our physical body to the other side, will we be able to hug them? Will we have a physical presence that we can pick them up and scoop them in our arms? And will they kiss us all over our face? And will they snuggle us? Will they purr? Will they be so whatever? Will we have that physical experience of reconnection? Or the opposite of that question was, or will it just be energetic? Will we all just return to this beautiful energetic space, and it'll just be a feeling that we get? And this is my understanding. I have no deep memories. Some people do. I don't have memories of prior lifetimes. I've had dreams. I've had emotions. I've had funny thoughts about prior lifetimes, but I don't have any specific memories. So I can't remember. There are some people who can. I don't remember transitioning to the other side and what it's like over there. So I can only share with you what I understand from my connection with the animals who now give me. That's where all this information comes from. I don't have a book. There's nothing that I go to other than closing my eyes, meditating, and asking for insight. And what I'm getting is that it's both. That if anybody, again, I don't want to do a spoiler alert, but if anybody has watched The Precursor, what was that? I don't even remember the name of it. It was the pre-story to Yellowstone, when they took you back to the days of the wagon train that went across the U.S. To Colorado. And there's a character in the story who dies, and they show what her version of heaven is. I think everybody's heaven is different. I think everybody's heaven is very personal. We can talk about this in a much deeper topic. I'm not going to go too far into this right now, because I could really go far with this. I think when we cross to the other side, we do return to pure positive energy, that we go into the energetic field, but that once we have left the physical earth and gone back to the energetic field, that we can manipulate that energy in any way that we want. And if it is our choice, as it is mine, to be reunited with our animal companions in a way that is glorious, I see myself being surrounded by dogs. I know it. I can feel it. Just like at the end of that story, where she goes into her physical version of heaven. I feel my physical version of heaven is that we have the ability to do whatever it is that we want to do. Okay, I made myself cry a little bit. Hang on. Give me 2 seconds, guys. 2 seconds. Okay, we're back. Okay. You'd think after all these videos that I would know to always have a tissue handy, and I do not. So when I tell some of these stories, sometimes it makes me a little emotional. Okay. So that's what I think about that, Sherry. I think that heaven can be that. I don't think that it's that for everybody, but I think anybody who wants to be able to connect with their animal companion and feel the physical hug will feel the physical hug. And then you can do whatever else you want, by the way. It doesn't have to end there. And we can't in these bodies, we can't wrap our minds around forever. I mean, think of the word forever and forever and forever. Infinity, because we can't wrap our minds around it because we think of what life would be like here on planet Earth and would we want to do this forever? And for most people, the answer is no. Okay, I'm checking comments real quick, and then we're going to do this little awareness activity before we do the reading for Moose. I never saw any of this. Okay, let's. I want to scroll just up a little bit further. Okay. There's so many comments that I'm not going to be able to look at them all. That's okay. I will try to I'll try to pick out the ones that are animal companions always look at you with adoring eyes. Absolutely. First thing, that they don't care if you brushed your teeth. All they want is to be near you. They can't wait for your little eyeballs to go bink and for you just to be there with them 100%. And so, yes, that is, and the big ugly cry or when you're sick. Yep. It's definitely a lesson they want us to learn, whether they're right here with us now or on the other side. It's like one of the most important lessons for us to learn is that we are adored. We are adored. And one of the very first people who needs to start adoring themselves is us. You know, I've done this exercise before. We have to stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself that you love you. Like, just look at yourself in the eye. I'm looking at myself right now. I know it looks like I'm looking down when I'm on the video. And look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. I love every single part of you. I just love you. I love the way your shirt keeps dropping down. It's hard to do at first. And sometimes people look away. You can't look. It's hard to look yourself in the eye. But that's why we're going to do this awareness exercise. Okay. If you're in a place, I'm going to go back. Wait, I wanted to see that Shrek comment. Shrek. My favorite Stephen King is The Shining. Me too. It's interesting. So Kim, what in the beginning of this book, it's a story about a novelist. He tells the story of a novelist, and he says there's some people who just can't get through some of the novelist ramblings, and yet the books still sell like crazy, even though not everybody can read them. Yeah, I think he understands that sometimes he gets way too wordy. But I walked around everywhere with any book in my hand. Love reading, still love books. But yes, I haven't read a full book in years. That's funny, right? Yep. Which is totally fine. But it's why I also like audiobooks. I love to read and I love to listen. And sometimes I will read and listen at the same time. If it's something that's really got my attention, I'll read it and listen to it at the same time. But I've lost the comment about Shrek, wherever that may be, as we all talk about The Shining. and not the movie, the book, The Shining. The movie, I don't think did the book justice. Salem's Lot, that was another really good one. Okay, back to my cat looks at me like, who are you and why am I here? That's good. You are my slave. That's what she said. You're here just to feed me, pet me. Self-esteem exercise, awareness exercise. This is what you want to do. So if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, that's what I would like you to do. If you're not in that place where you can close your eyes, then you can just come back to this, or you can just listen along for the time being. It's a self-awareness activity. In fact, some of you who are in the class, I think we did this. I can't remember if we did this on Wednesday. No, we did it on Friday. I have a couple classes running now, so I get them confused. Um, just be somewhere where you can close your eyes and you focus on your breath. And you begin by breathing, because breathing is the one activity that comes very naturally to us. We do it all day long without giving it a second thought. But when we start to think about it, it allows us to close out all of the other things around us. We are focusing just on our breathing. It's like giving our brain a job. I've mentioned before that telling your brain not to think is like telling your heart not to beat. Its job is to think. Its job is to receive thoughts, think about them, ruminate on them, and then it goes to town. It really goes way. It goes. It'll keep thinking about the same thing over and over and over again. So focusing on our breath allows us to focus on something of our choosing. So you breathe in nice and deep. Breathe out. When you breathe in, visualize, imagine, or just know that you are breathing in all the beautiful, pure, positive energy that resides with your animal companion now on the other side. You're breathing it in, allow it to fill your body, and when you exhale, I would invite you to let go. Let go of all the things that at this moment in time don't serve you. Any thoughts, any things hanging out there, things about the car, things about work, things about the family, bills, nutrition, health, whatever it may be at this moment in time, just breathe them out. And sometimes I like to visualize that there's a beautiful tree or a beautiful bush off to the side, and I've taken all those cares, all my worries, everything that keeps me preoccupied, that prevents me from making the kinds of connections I want to make with my animal companions. I put them into a bag. I've got this really cool bag. It's either a velvet bag, a paper bag, who cares? Just put them all into a bag and ask the tree, set them under the tree, and just ask that tree to take care of them for a little while. Because for the next couple moments, you and your animal companion need to hang out. So set all those cares, all those worries over there on the side. And now, focusing again on your breath, I want you to start to feel your body, like really feel your body. I want you to feel everything about your body. Breathe in, and even if you want to, you can touch certain parts of your body if you want to connect that way. But I like to connect from the inside out. So normally we might touch our forehead, but if you touch your forehead, what does it feel like for your forehead to feel your fingers? I want you to touch your eyelashes. Just touch your eyelashes, your eyebrows, your temples. Maybe you take your fingers and you touch your lips, things that you don't generally do, the edge of your nose. Let your fingers slide over to your earlobes. What does that feel like? What does a little space feel like? Some people's ears connect, some people's don't. What does that feel like right there to you when you touch? Go down your jaw. Feel your jaw. What does that bone feel like where your jaw is? And I want you to keep breathing at your own natural pace, but you're focusing now on your body. Feel that little extra skin that you might have under your chin. Feel your throat. Feel your collarbone, your shoulders. Your hands can't touch themselves, but you can touch each hand. What does that feel like to put the tips of your fingers together? What does the back of your neck feel like? You won't be able to feel down your back, but what does your back feel like if it's pressed against the chair? Moving down your body. What is your heart space? Can you feel your heartbeat? Do you feel any tightness? Go ahead. If you're all by yourself, let your tummy hang out. No need to suck that in. What does that feel like? Have you noticed any judgment coming from yourself as you're doing this? Have you thought about, like, let your tummy hang out? Okay, what have I got there? Have I got a spare tire hanging out there? So what? That's one of those things that your animal companion did not ever judge you for. Let your hands touch your knees. And then just let your hands rest in your lap. And I want you to breathe in and Imagine the things that, if you wanted to, you could use your fingers to touch your toes, but wiggle your toes. I'm rubbing my toes on the floor. Feel what the floor feels like underneath of your feet. What does the chair feel like underneath of you? I want you to really feel what it's like to be in your body. You are in your body. And now I want you, as you breathe in, I invite you, go back to your eyes. Your eyes are closed, but what does that space look like? What does the space behind your eyes actually look like? And I want you to imagine that you are looking into your animal companion's eyes. You are looking into their eyes. You see them. You see what their eyes look like, what their nose look like, what their ears may look like. If they have fur or feathers or fins, whatever it is, what their claws are like. Are their nails sharp, short, long? Do their pads feel rough? Whatever it is that you can visualize through your eyes, I want you to see them. And then I want you to do something that you've probably never done before. I want you to imagine that you are looking at yourself through their eyes. If their eyes could stare at you, what would they see? What would they see? And would they notice physical things? No, they would see you. They see you. They see you as their person. They see your face. If they kissed you all over your face, if they hopped onto your shoulder, if they jumped into your arms, if they welcomed your hug, if they snuggled, if they cuddled, it's with you. They see none of the physical things that you felt as you became aware of your body. They are only aware of the you that is perfect, the perfect you. And if they sensed that you were sad, if they saw tears, if they felt your grief, they would snuggle into you. They would still be doing everything, loving you just the way you are. So know that from their perspective, through their eyes, you are perfect, you are healed, you are full. I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. That's what you get with live video. Okay. And if that snapped you out of it, it's totally fine. We can't get this stuff wrong. We cannot get this stuff wrong. There was nothing I could do about that sneeze. So take a nice deep breath right now. And what I want you to do is just thank your animal companion. Thank your animal companion for having joined you just there in that moment, reminding you of your perfection, reminding you of how beautiful you are, and reminding you how it felt and how it feels and how good it feels to connect with them. Okay, I'm going to take a look at some comments real quick. Excuse me. And I'm getting like the tail end of a little cold here. But I want to do the reading for Moose in just a moment. Lost you for a minute. Okay, I'm sorry, Kathy. Yep. And here's the thing. When I close my eyes, like it just is a natural habit. I close my eyes and then I'm like partway through, I am thinking, my mind goes to, I hope that I'm still alive. Okay, let's check out some comments. From Nancy, my dog Lily has been gone 4 weeks now, constant companion. She had a short sickness. I did not think she would die. I still constantly look at the spot where she used to lay in the living room. Nancy, I would continue to look there. We talk about signs on this channel all the time. And some of those signs, there are some of us who I don't have, Gypsy has her own space right now because she's my companion at the moment. I don't have all of my dog's old bedding, but I have a lot of their things, but many people do keep that space as a sacred space for their animal companions. And you can always ask for signs and ask them to send you a feeling even from that space. Yeah, I still, but see, part of the signs for me, I still look for my dogs. I still frequently say their names out loud as if they're right with me. Even when it's not, I'll say like Lucy, and I'll call Gypsy Lucy. But I take that all as also signs that they're right with me and that they're speaking out loud through my voice. Um, my pets would look at me with hearts in their eyes. Yeah, that's it. Their eyes are that's the heart. That is their heart, their soul. When they look in your eyes and when you look in their eyes, even if you have to do it through a meditation like that, a visualization, they see you and only you and nothing. They don't see any of that other stuff about us. They don't see anything. They don't see any of it. They just see the wonderful, they see your soul. That's what they see. They see your soul, they see your love, and that's all they care about. And that's all we should care about too. Okay. Looked in my bedroom tonight and saw Gary's blanket and swear you saw him there because you did. There is, we are so, we're so entrenched in this physical world that we forget that there's so many possibilities and there is so much more out there. Um, we have no limits. We have no limits even in these physical bodies, and neither do our animal companions. They will give us glimpses. They will give us shadows. Signs is a topic. Again, we can always talk about it more. We've talked about it in the past, and we can talk about it again in the future. But they will do everything possible to get through to us, including giving us little glimpses of themselves. Their souls. Look at with hearts. Okay. All right. I think I'm all caught up as much as I can be on those comments. Let's talk about the reading from Moose. So I did not have a picture of Moose. I found it intriguing, though, that when I went to, like, I do these in date order. So we're finally up to May. But the closer I get, like, I feel like May, and now it's September. Also, if any of you watching this, especially if you're a channel member, and if I have missed something, just let me know. You can put it in the comments, or you can reach out to me on email. Some of you have found my messenger too, but again, I get a lot. But if I have missed something, you can even write in the subject line, channel member, you missed me. It's okay, because I'll go back and find it if I have missed a reading for you guys. Because I get so many emails, and channel members get first priority. That's why I say that. I'm looking right now to see if anybody has said that I missed them. Okay, but I don't see that. So Moose came up today. When I look for the date, I go to the last date, and Moose is the one that was there. I find it very interesting because Moose is the name of one of the dogs that Moose and Bear. That's who they're at the farm where I'm farm sitting this weekend, or this week. And it's Moose. I don't have a picture of Moose. I didn't even get a description of Moose. I just got a couple of questions that Moose passed too fast, unexpectedly. The person had to make a tough decision in a short period of time, felt pressured. Does Moose know how sorry he is? Does Moose know? I don't know if it was a he or she even. No, it's a he. I'm pretty sure it's a he. Does Moose know how sorry he is? Does Moose know that how loved he was, how loved he is? Does he still love them? Those are all the things that came through from Moose. So I'll tell you what I do know about Moose. And then when I'm all done this, I'm going to go check my emails to see if he might have sent me a picture. I got the sense that Moose did and did not live up to his name. That Moose was a moose of a pet. So I'm thinking dog, and if it turns out to be cat, I'll be surprised. But it's possible that Moose lived up to his name physically, but didn't always live up to his name otherwise. That he was sometimes fearful and sometimes had anxiety. That he didn't always live up to his name of being a moose. That sometimes he was actually a teddy bear. That he had anxiety, and was there perhaps one person in particular that Moose was somewhat fearful of? And that's something that I didn't get to talk about too much tonight, was animal feelings. Like, animals do have emotions. Animals feel happiness. They feel joy and excitement, and they enjoy things, and they feel sad about things. They do. Many animals feel depression, such as when they lose a person or a human in their own lives. But what they don't do is they don't get some of the denser emotions that we sometimes associate with them. The reason that I bring this up is because they don't hold grudges ever. They don't hold grudges. Can they be fearful of people? Say they've been through a bad situation. Can they be afraid? Yes, they can. Will they carry that with them to the other side? No, they do not. And they don't feel things like grudges. They don't feel, what was the other one I had besides grudges? Anyway, but we think we transfer human emotions to them sometimes that they don't feel and that they don't need to feel, but we think that they feel. So that's where I'm getting at with this fear of one person in particular. It's not that Moose had a hatred or an intense dislike of this person, but there's something about this one person that's all I'm getting, is that there was one person in particular that he was a little bit more fearful of or a little bit more anxious around. I also got something about sleep apnea, and the sleep apnea. Did I get a sense that was Moose who had the sleep apnea? So I don't know if there was something about Moose. I just don't know what kind of dog. I'm going with dog. I don't know what kind of dog Moose was. So, but I get the sense that he suffered from sleep apnea. And then something came up about green diamonds, and there was no other visual than that. And remember that sometimes when our animals share these things with us, it is from their perspective, just like when they look at us through their eyes, and we ask to like see it when we look at ourselves as if we're looking at ourselves through their eyes. Everything they see is going to be a little bit different, and it's not going to come from a human perspective. So when a dog or a cat or even a horse may see green diamonds, it could even be like the diamonds in a pavement. It does not have to be like an emerald or something. There's something about they will always have a little bit different perspective. So think about that when we're thinking of green diamonds. Also about a stadium and lots of cheering. So I don't know if there was like if Moose was taken um, to a sporting event where you guys were tailgating or something. But that's what I get. Like, and that sometimes raised anxiety in Moose, that he loved being with you all the time, but there were some things about a loud stadium that made him anxious. So then Moose is human. I think the big regret here, this is where the regret and the guilt and the remorse come in, is Moose is human felt that the decision to assist Moose in transition was rushed, that there was pressure from veterinary staff, that it was time, that it had to be done, that it needed to be done, and that Moose's human didn't have time um, to process everything and to come to their own decision. And this is kind of what I want to. There's two perspectives to this, not perspectives, but there's two different things I want to explore. The first thing is every single animal, no animal will cross if they're not ready. And just like us, we are the same way. Whether or not we believe it, when our time comes, we will be part of the decision making process. Whether we choose to stay, for example, an elderly person who expresses very much that I'm going to have a do not resuscitate, or I'm going to you're not going to put me in a home, or I'm going to. But then at the very last moment, when the decision has to be made, they say, no, I would like to be taken to the doctor and I want as much help as I possibly can. We all will have input into the way that we cross, and our animals do as well, whether or not we accept the terms that they choose to cross on. Some animals, pets who have been hit by cars, pets who have been lost, animal companions who get a diagnosis of a terminal illness. And where does that come from? Whole topic for another day, the terminal illness thing. But they all have some say in the decision-making process. So know that no matter what you did, this is what I leave you with for that. You do the best you can with what you have at that moment in time. And your animal companion would never ask anything more of you. When you make the decision based in love, sure, even if you're not 100% sure, if you believe that you are doing the best that you can for them at that moment in time with the information that you have, then you are doing the best for them at that moment in time. The pressure, to be pressured by veterinary staff. I work at a vet clinic. on occasion, it's not a full-time thing or even a part-time thing, but I work very closely with the veterinary clinic, and I see what the decisions are that have to be made all the time. I have seen both sides of the coin, not only working at the veterinary clinic, but having worked for many years at the pet funeral home. I see the decisions, and I see the torment of the people who are animal companions. And I've seen compassion fatigue from veterinarians who have had to make so many tough decisions that they tend to lose some of the compassion that we hope that they would have. And I've also seen animals who suffered. Um, and I'll use that word. I've seen animals in great physical pain because of the decisions being made by both sides. So I'm just not I'm trying to not judge any decision. What I'm trying to say is that most veterinary staff are trying to help you make the most compassionate decision possible for your human companion. I don't know of any veterinarian who would willingly put an animal to sleep, if that's the term that we want to use, who would willingly euthanize, who would forcibly euthanize an animal companion unless they felt it was the most compassionate thing that could be done. And I know that's hard to wrap our minds around. I've got other videos on euthanasia, and the trauma of that type of decision making, but those are my thoughts. I know that some of us have experienced both incredibly compassionate veterinarians and veterinarians on the complete opposite side of the scale. But I don't know of anybody in the medical profession for animals who would willingly give up the life of an animal companion, unless they felt that it was the best possible choice for their animal. And I understand and this is specifically for Moose's human, say Moose and human together, Moose's person. I understand when you had to make a decision at the last moment, a decision you weren't prepared to make. We can't go back and change that. We can't go back and change that, but you can come to terms with it. Come to terms with it and know that Moose did not take those feelings with. Moose is not on the other side gone, I wish I was still alive. It just doesn't work that way. Moose, more than anything, wants you to heal. Moose wants to be right there with you, energetically helping you know that you did the best that you possibly could, and Moose is fine. Moose is on the other side of life. Moose has left the physical, but has not left you, and will always be by your side. And I know you guys hear me say this all the time, but our animal companions do not leave us. There is no loss. There is no loss. They are still by our side. It's part of the healing process is not only coming to terms with how they crossed, but coming to terms with how we can let them back in again. And we can begin to feel them with us and understand that they are still here with us. Last thing I'm going to say on this subject before I see more comments coming up. Last thing I'm going to say on this subject, it's one of the reasons why I was inspired by our animal companions to create peaceful crossings. It's two things. Peaceful crossings, the service, is where myself, and I've now trained probably we may have more than a dozen people now who have trained with me. Peaceful crossings, the training is where I've trained a group of people to be there, to reach out in their local communities, to be support people, to help you make those decisions before they have to be made, to help you understand if your animal companion is diagnosed with a terminal illness, to guide you through the process of everything that you're going to need for their care before, during, and after their crossing. And then that the actual service that we offer is that it is the support to being the liaison, the coordinator, the shoulder, the mentor, the guide, the walking with you hand in hand, arm in arm, all of the things that you may need when it comes time for your animal companion to cross. So reach out to me, and I will direct you. I can guide you to different people. I have different resources. I can help you understand things. I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to do that for you. And I know for Moose's human and for those who I do readings, your animal companion has already crossed to the other side. Even if you need to just speak to somebody privately, I'm an animal chaplain. And that means that I'm here to help work through and navigate some of those really dense emotions. Because our animal can, I know I keep saying but it's the filler as I try to organize all these thoughts that weren't that I didn't have before. Help organize all these thoughts. Okay. I am going to read the comments real quick. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you so much. There is so, I need to take a course. There is so much support from this community for each other. I say this every week. You guys rock. I love that you support each other. And that is part of the goal of this community. It's not just me, but it's all of us supporting each other through these really difficult feelings. Hopefully I will see a sign again soon. Oh, Nancy, we love to talk about signs. Signs are so much fun when you recognize that you can see signs and that they're everywhere. And once you get your first sign, they show up again and again. And then if you like kind of forget about it for a little while and you go, oh, wow, it's been weeks since I think that I've heard from Lucy. Lucy, I would really love to hear from you. When you walk into a store and there's a giant shirt that says Lucy on it, and then when you say, well, that could be coincidence, and you move the shirt and there's a second shirt that says Lucy. When you start to get signs, they never stop. Getting a tingling in my leg where his tail would thwack me. Oh yeah, that's a sign. Because his tail is thwacking you. Those are all the cool signs. And you will when you are ready, 100%. Losses of our loved ones and fur babies is sadly part of being human, and it sucks. So what I would really like to share, it is part of being human. It's part of the human experience, is understanding how this loss, so the physical loss of people and animals and souls who were friends, whatever, who were important parts of our life. And then it's how to not only recover, but become even better. And that's a judgmental word, but not just to learn, but to know that there's more. There's so much more. There's just more. And can't go down that topic because look at how much where we are. We're already over an hour, and I don't want to keep you guys. We can more every single week. We talk more and more about all this stuff, and it goes deeper and deeper until we are all going to understand that we are. Oh, Sherry, your question. The other part of that question that I meant to say was, we are spiritual beings in a physical body, but we love the physical experience, everything about it. When we go back to the other side and we want that hug and we want that physical embrace, not only that, we're going to remember that we loved every single moment in our physical body, because that's what we came here to experience. We came here to experience what it felt like to get a paper cut, what it felt like to lose our animal companion, what it felt like to embrace and hug. Remember the first time, or the first time you held a baby, or the first time, as my granddaughter now, I love this. The first time she tasted chocolate and her little eyes went, That's what we came here to experience. Every last bit of it. Okay, I'm done now. Is the physical loss part of the lesson to not lose focus so much on the physical and remind? Yes, that is absolutely part of it. That's a great way to put it. Thank you. That part of the physical loss is a lesson not to so much focus on the physical loss, but to remember that we are spiritually connected always, always. That energy is always with us. All right, last thing. Because I say this, but I think there's somebody here tonight who needs to hear this. Water, ice, steam, snow, river, ocean, it's all water, but it's just in different forms. And that's us spiritually. Whether we're in a physical body or we are on the other side, that energy doesn't go anywhere. The energy flows to, through, and around us. You can breathe it in. When I say breathe in the energy, I mean breathe it in. It's not a metaphor. It's not an English teacher once corrected me that metaphor is not the right word, but you know what I mean. It's not an example. It's a real thing. Breathe it in. Breathe them in. Let them fill you with their energetic love. And watch the pieces of your heart be sewn back together. Okay, that's it for now, guys. All right, my friends, thanks for hanging out with me on Monday nights. I love it. If there are any topics that you want to explore further, send me an email, put a post in the comments or ask a question like Sherry did. because I love to explore all of these things. And sometimes we're practical, and sometimes we're woo woo, and sometimes we do meditations, and sometimes we tell stories. It's always different every Monday. So I look forward to next Monday. In the meantime, I will see some of you throughout the week in my various classes. Members, I'll keep trying to post those videos for you guys. And until the next time that we meet, may animals light your way. Take care, everybody. Thanks. Bye bye.